topic that people really don't discuss out in public. Really requires some delicate operating around.
What is the topic?
It's kind of sensitive.
Clearly, you see, I don't
if
know.
you do it the wrong way, it can actually be kind of damaging. And that topic is fisting.
What? I use that.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing this up?
We actually got a letter. Yeah, we got a letter that came in.
That was what they were talking
that
about?
was talking about fisting. It was,
Can you define fisting for the viewing audience?
Pretty much like treating the punani as a punching bag.
Nah, boo, come on now. Be appropriate.
It's like, I'm just playing. But fisting is when you actually, instead of fingering the vagina, you actually fist the vaginal area. And so you stick your hand all the way up in the vagina, and it's like in the form of a fist. Yeah, so she wrote in, and she was wondering, because her husband is kind of, sexually exploratory, or, let's see, in different forms of sexual expression. So, one day they went in the bedroom, and, he stuck the finger in. He stuck 2 fingers in, and then eventually he was actually trying to stick his fist in. And so,
what is her question about?
Her question was whether or not she should actually go all the way and allow him to do that. And so, it's...
Go ahead and get your answer so I can get to mine. Thank you for clarifying the question.
So she wanted to know whether or not she should allow him to actually, proceed further. She did say that there was some discomfort.
But he did it? He did it?
No, he didn't do it, but he got like 3 fingers in. Yeah, he was trying to. But he did express after that particular session that he wanted to do more. And, because she's in love with him. And again, it's her husband. And she wants to make sure that he's satisfied sexually. She's open to the idea.
Because he just so wants to put his whole fist in her vagina. That's going to really do it for him.
Yeah, but he also wants to know, whether or not she should actually, establish a boundary, establish a line, a cutoff line in terms of like what he can and can't do. And so when it comes to this particular question, what I would say is that whatever makes him happy, she needs to do.
Okay.
So now I'm just playing. There should be some appropriate boundaries established in a relationship. And when it comes to the area of sex, I would agree that if you don't feel comfortable, you should stretch beyond your comfort zone. If you don't want to do something, you should do it anyway.
All right, let me weigh in here.
I'm just playing, y'all.
It is okay to stretch. But I'm not in favor. I'm not in favor of stretching the vagina beyond what it needs to stretch. Now we know that the vagina can stretch quite large. If you have children, your vagina stretches. Okay, so we know that the capacity is there. But here's the thing. Here's how you come to this understanding of what works and what won't work for you. It's really about your comfort level. You're asking, should you do this for him? As if there's an equation that we're going to give you that you can somehow manipulate and figure out, he's kind of at that place where we should be able to do that, and I should give that to him. Sweetie, it's really about whether it works for you or doesn't work for you, whether you're interested in exploring, whether it's that big a deal or isn't that big a deal, whether it totally frightens you and is actually painful for you, and it's just not a pleasurable experience.
Shouldn't get used to it, though.
How do you know?
If you can give birth to a baby out of the vagina, you can get used to a small little measly old fist.
Okay, but doesn't that loosen the vagina? Won't that make it so loose that you don't feel it? You don't feel the tightness. I don't know. I just don't understand the obsession by your husband with that piece. But clearly, we don't need to understand things in order to lift them up and help them become fantasies realized for our spouses and our partners. This is what you need to do. You need to just first figure out if it's okay with you.
Yeah, if it's not,
maybe she needs to try to put her own fist inside of her vagina to get a sense
in front of him,
just to get a sense as to whether or not, is that going to work? Put your own fingers in there, and then keep trying to go and see, no, I'm not quite feeling it. That's not going to work. I personally don't see what it's just too much. It's just too much, But I never hate on folks who if it connects for you and it connects for him, fine. How do you figure out whether to do it or not? Attack your threshold. If you're trying to push and see if you can go to another level with that, fine, do that. But it doesn't sound like it's really that necessary. That's just me.
I agree with you. I'm just playing, y'all. When I say go ahead and stretch beyond your comfort zone, literally in a relationship, you do have to stretch. And when it comes to sexuality or your sexual experience in the bedroom, it's good to stretch with your spouse. But if you ain't comfortable with it, if it's not something that you want to do, if it's not something that you really see as enhancing a relationship, if it's something that really takes you way beyond what you consider to be the norm, and it's really outside of your realm of understanding. And what I would say is that just hold fast. It's not something that you should do if it's not you. Some things are you, some things aren't you. You should stretch in certain situations, but in others, you might want to hold fast and say, nah, boo, we might have to press pause on this one because this ain't cool.
Sex is about intimacy. It's about being able to find ways to connect with your partner mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So if whatever you're engaging in when you're having sex with your partner, it's not something that's bringing you closer. It's not something that is allowing you to feel them in a new and different and more intense way where you feel closer, where you feel more connected. If it ain't doing that, then it's probably not the thing you need to do. So remember that. We hope that this has been of help to you. Interesting question. They keep getting more and more interesting.
Stretch.
Stop playing and start pushing.
Start stretching.
Easy. Bye, y'all.